There's one thing in this game that is absolutely busted that I'm going to share with you guys. There's a 4-star character that has an insane burst combo in this game that allows for AoE burst DPS, and I haven't seen anybody talk about this character at all. It's completely busted. It's better than 5-star characters. In my personal opinion, I have Keqing, I have QQ, I have a lot of these characters. I've tried them all out, and I'm doing way more damage with my 4-star. Who am I speaking about? Chongyun. So if you don't know how this guy works, he is a two-handed Claymore Frost element character. If you look at his moves, you kind of need to understand how this works. He does a basic attack, he does 4 consecutive strikes, and on the last one, if you have his first constellation, which I do, I only have one, it will apply a freeze kind of straight line skill shot, all right? But keep in mind, that's not his only way of doing freeze. Now, this is important, the charged attack. Drains stamina over time to perform continuous spinning attacks against all nearby enemies. At the end of the sequence, perform a more powerful slash. So he's gonna go do, hit everybody, and then smack in the direction he's facing at the end of it, okay? Now, here is where it starts to get cool. His E, or his skill here, applies a AoE, which is also cryo in nature. And if you're within the circle, all damage done through your normal and charged by swords and claymores and polearm wielders, meaning you switch to other characters, all those apply cryo damage. So your physical damage is now cryo. This is really important because claymores burst down people when they're frozen. If you don't know, there's an effect called shatter, which what ends up happening is a character who's wet gets attacked by frost, they become frozen. If somebody with a claymore hits a frozen character, they will shatter, applying a large amount of burst damage. That burst damage can be affected by your elemental mastery. Now, if you look here as well, his Q throws down these 3 giant ice beams. It just does some burst damage, okay? And that's kind of how it works. And that's all it really does, is some burst damage. But you compare that with a weapon. For instance, I pair them with the Skyward Pride weapon. And what happens is after you use your burst, your normal and charged attacks create an 80% attack in the vacuum. So you get this combo of the Skyward Pride blade plus Chongyun's AoE cryo effect, and he AoE combos people with a shatter. I'm going to show you how it works. It's the best damage I've seen yet, and in my personal opinion, it's maybe the best combo in the entire game. I want to show you here and give you a real fair example. So here's Chongyun, and you can see I have my moves ready. Now I'm doing the water boss, that way they already have the wet status effect applied. If you don't have a wet character, you will get one for free at Adventure Rank 20. You get Barbara. She applies wet just on her basic attacks. Now watch, they're frozen, and this is the cryo circle. As I AoE, you see those 1,000 damage on top of the 970? Look at that damage. That is absolutely insane. That is AoE bursting shatter over and over and over and over again. It doesn't matter how many characters are in this circle, you can keep doing it. Before you tell me, well, DM, this is just because you're a well, you have all the characters, you have the weapon, right? You've got that insane weapon. Actually, it's not, because I have Venti, I have the Amos bow, I've actually got a couple of them. My Mona has the correct item for her weapon, which is the crit rate plus movement speed one. I have a lot of the right weapons on the right characters that are 5-star, and I even have some constellations on 5-star characters like Venti and Mona, for instance, okay? And I have the high DPS characters like this one with the refined weapon that does electro, etc. The reason I brought this guy up first to 60 and his weapon up to 60 is because since level 20, this guy has been doing all of my damage. He's been consistently carrying. As you can see here, I have a lot of weapons. I've tried out a lot of these. I've tried refining like blues. I've tried refining the purples. I've tried a very large assortment of weapons on different characters. At this point, in my personal opinion, this is purely the best out of everything I've purchased, and I've got almost everything. On top of that, it synergizes perfectly with Barbara, who is a character you get for free. If you didn't know how her move works, is it forms musical notes loop, dealing hydro damage to surrounding enemies, inflicting them with wet status. So all you have to do is use this character as a healer, and not only is it going to consistently heal him, but it's also going to apply the wet status around him as well. Meaning Chongyun not only can tank the damage, but he can also continue to proc those shatters. And you do this with only 4-star characters, one of which is completely free. And you don't have to have a 5-star weapon. In fact, you can use a very good 3-star weapon for this. Check this out. After using Elemental Skill, that's again the cryo AoE that we use off this. You don't have to really use his major move for this combo. After using elemental skill, normal or charged attacks on hit deal an additional 60% attack damage in a small area. Effect lasts 15 seconds. Damage can only occur once every 3 seconds. This is basically a 3-star version of the 5-star sword I have. Not only that, but you can refine this all the way. And as you refine it, the damage actually goes up by a lot. Look up, 75 to 90%. Okay, now we can do 90% again. And you're not really worried about the fact that it can only do it once every 3 seconds because this is a burst move, where what you do is you're trying to burst everyone down during the time that they're frozen from the wet effect of Barbara, okay? Look at that, max, 120% attack damage off of a 3-star. You can use this no problem. I'm gonna give you one more example, and I think you're starting to understand how this works, okay? It's fairly simple. You have some guys, you go in, you apply the wet status effect, you drop down your E, they now have the potential to be frozen, and you constantly refreeze them over and over and over again, nuking everyone in that area. There's also one really busted set for this, which is the Bloodstain Cavaliers or Chevalier. I don't know how you pronounce this, okay? But long story short, look at the set bonus. 2-piece set, physical damage plus 25%. So when you're not within your E, you're getting plus 25%. But the 4-piece set, that's the important one. After defeating an opponent, increases charged attack damage by 50% and reduces its stamina cost to 0 for 10 seconds. Meaning when we're doing our combo here, right? And we do Barbara, and we're like, okay, let's freeze them, and then we do this here. After we killed that guy and we start comboing again, all of that damage there is plus 50%. Meaning as soon as you nuke down one person in the group, suddenly you nuke down everyone. And if you're not aware, you can actually get one of these pieces of this set absolutely free right in the beginning of the game. And what I'm going to show you here is if you go into the cathedral within the main town, here I am, there's the cathedral right there, and you go and you talk to Victoria, this nun. After you talk to her, this here is there anyway good to go in Mondstadt, you talk to her here, and she will give you 1 goblet for free. And that's basically how I got that piece of gear that I already showed you. Now, good luck on the roll. It isn't going to always be the same one. If I show you here, here it is. I got a Nemo damage bonus, but you could get anything from defense, attack. I mean, you know, you could get anything on this. So hopefully you roll a frozen damage bonus. That would be nuts, or cryo damage bonus, I should say. Also, there's something really, really great about this character. It's the fact that claymores are very useful in this game. Not only do you use it for when you're breaking ore like this, so if you're running around with this as your main character, you're going to constantly be able to break the ore quickly, but on top of it, having a claymore in Jimro will counter a lot of things in this game. It breaks through shields, for instance. When you're fighting Geo characters, it counters Geo characters just having a claymore. It also, for instance, if you're fighting some of the main bosses, like I'll show you here on this map, okay? So this guy over here, this square, you know, there's different squares in the map, the Geo Hypostasis. This guy is very difficult to beat if you're not smacking down the pillars with the claymore. And again, he's a claymore guy, so you can do it. There's a lot of combos. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm going to show you the fire boss. And the reason I'm showing you the fire boss is because fire counters cryo, okay? This should be the hardest one for me to deal with. Now, what I want to do is show you that even after, look at that damage. This is a fire boss. Even after that, and this is without the freeze damage, the insane damage, that's half of his health during one of the plop downs, and I barely even got all my moves in. That's it. Look at that. Now the Q's back up. He's standing back up. And this is the wrong element. Okay, the wrong element. I'm still doing it. So you can use your Barbara. You can apply that. That will constantly freeze them over and over and over again. You get that bonus damage, even on the wrong element. I'm telling you guys, it's an insane combo. Go and try it. I've been using it for everything, basically. Short of like the Fire Abyss mages. Those guys can be kind of hard. But other than that, I've been using it for almost everything. Both his E and his Q will allow you to dodge. They're both invincibility frames, okay? So if you are about to get hit, you can also combo in with his E, and the E combo also will allow you the animation cancel with this character. So if I go attack, 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 and I'm going to do the big attack, right? There it goes, and I E again, right back into the attacks again, so you can consistently burst. There's another big AoE into the Q, into the attacks again. Just like that, tons and tons and tons of damage, even against the wrong element. This is starting to sound interesting to you. Keep in mind, the requirements are fairly low. You can use the 3-star Debate Club Claymore. On top of that, you only need Barbara plus Chongyun. Chongyun doesn't need any of his constellations, and Barbara doesn't need any of her constellations for this to work. Granted, the first constellation will help get you an additional shatter on the final attack of your basic attack combos and not your charged attack, but that's it. Other than that, it's not really a big deal. Most of Chongyun's constellations actually will just give him cooldown effects, which will make this combo happen quicker, but you're still gated by requiring the other person to be wet if you want to continually do the shatter combo. With that being said, you don't have to rely just upon the shatter combo with this character, because due to two-handed claymores, by the time you got this character fairly leveled up, even the claymore itself does tons of damage, as I was explaining before. Just having a claymore, there's lots of uses for that. For this reason, having Frost, which deals with water, as you saw, the damage against fire isn't even that bad. It deals with Geo. It's not weak against anything except fire. For instance, you can do against wind people, no problem. You can do against Geo. You can do against water. It freezes them. Against other ice people, you're obviously immune, but the only person you're weak to is fire. The other great thing about this combo is Frozen actually combos with basically every element. If I freeze somebody like this, right, he's now frozen, and I swap over to an electric character, I can superconduct them. If I go to fire, I can melt them, and obviously there's the shatter too. For that reason, this is an absolute no-brainer. If you have QQ, which I haven't even mentioned earlier, you can combo QQ's E plus Barbara's E to automatically freeze people over and over again as well, and that will give you even more shatters. You guys can keep going with this, figure out artifact combos. You can build them either with attack damage, just with the AoE swing. You can build them with all the damage coming from the shatters. There's multiple ways you can really do this, okay? And for that reason, I really think that this is one of the best combos you can have, and one of the most accessible combos you can have in this game without really needing to pay to win or do any kind of crazy things. You don't even really need crazy artifacts to make it work. It's not lined up on anything but Chongyun and getting them wet, and that's it. If this video was informative, if it helped you out, or if you just plain enjoyed it, consider subscribing in order to help me out, as every time you guys subscribe, YouTube's saying, hey, this guy's doing a better job, and more people see my videos. I appreciate that a lot. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Hit here if you want to see a new video, and click over there if you want to subscribe.